Welcome. Hello. My name is Timothy Bees, and I'm here to introduce you to some of the people who serve on the Multicultural Family Center's Board of Directors. This diverse group of people believe in the mission of the center and have experienced personal change as a result of their involvement with the center. Let me introduce you to our first board member, Evelyn Nadeau. Evelyn serves as a professor of Spanish at Clark University. She was raised in the San Francisco Bay Area. Evelyn lived and taught in Oregon and Baja California. She believes that cultural diversity is the strength of any community. She will define diversity, and you will see that it is much broader than many of us will at first consider. Here's Evelyn.
Many times people ask why cultural diversity is important for a community. And I think before we get into that, it's important to even recognize what cultural diversity is made up of. People tend to think of origin, where people are from another country, or they tend to think of race or ethnicity as diversity or cultural diversity. But in reality, there's a lot more to cultural diversity. For example, age, different ages, socioeconomic status, gender, sex, sexual orientation, religion, and even being able-bodied versus being disabled. So we here in Dubuque have a lot of cultural diversity that we don't always recognize. So that's important to acknowledge. And then it's important to learn about the cultural diversity beyond ourselves. As we do that, we find that there are many things that we can value and that we find commonalities, but also differences that help us expand our perspective, which is important, especially right now. It's no secret that in the moment we have a lot of problems going on, not only in our community, but in the state, in the country, in the world. And if we keep doing what we're doing, stuck in our own little boxes, we aren't really going to make any headway in solving those problems. But if we can expand our perspective and look through different lenses to see what the issues are, we can come up with solutions that are outside the box, that are innovative and new. We can make sure that Dubuque doesn't just survive, but that it thrives. And so really, cultural diversity is our strength. I've been involved with the Multicultural Family Center since it began. Initially, I just participated in the programs and enjoyed what they offered. Once in a while, I'd volunteer to help out with something, but I really wasn't involved very much. But as time went by, I realized how important the Multicultural Family Center is, and so I wanted to get involved at a deeper level and also to sustain what I consider to be one of the most important resources that we have in our community. And that's why today I am a board member.
Our next board member is Marlene Wohler. Marlene has been in Dubuque and the surrounding area for most of her life. She's worshiped and worked in both the downtown and north end sections of our city for over 25 years. Dubuque has changed over those 25 years. For Marlene, the Multicultural Family Center is key in meeting the changing needs of our youth at this present time. Here's Marlene.
The cultural events and programs available have allowed me to meet people from all over the world without ever having to leave Dubuque. During my tenure, I have seen a wide variety of programs and cultural events. We have truly made the difference in the lives of many with our food pantries, after-school teen activities, summer teen empowerment program, and many adult programs. Coming back after the COVID pandemic and reopening this bigger and better facility allows us to reach out to even more people in our community. We are blessed to have engaged in this partnership with the city and help make a difference beyond what any other organization can provide in Dubuque. Our mission to build unity through diversity, equity, and inclusion is apparent in all of our programs and cultural events. The MFC has led the way in offering a variety of programs and has built great partnerships with businesses, schools, and organizations that we value.
Our next board member is John Stewart. John moved here from Seattle in 2001 and has been a board member since 2013. He was the Vice President of Academic Affairs at the University of Dubuque. His experience at the university with students, faculty, and staff of color sensitized him to the presence of the growing diversity in Dubuque and its ensuing needs. John decided that the MFC was the preeminent place to invest his time and effort to help make our city an inclusive community. Here's John.
I accepted an invitation to be a member of the board of the MFC soon after I came to Dubuque in 2001. I came here to be Vice President for Academic Affairs at the University of Dubuque. And in that role, part of my responsibility was to hire new faculty members. I'd recruited an African American faculty member, a psychology professor from the University of Maryland. And about 2 weeks after he began, he came into my office and he was obviously a little upset. And I asked him what was up. And he asked me, "What have you gotten me into here, John?" And I asked him what he meant. And he told me that he'd been called the N-word on the street before he had been in Dubuque 10 days. That episode introduced me to what I've sometimes call the ugly underbelly of Dubuque's past and its present. The fact that the Ku Klux Klan met here in the early 1990s, that before that there was a history of some cross-burning and some lynching in this community, and that we had a need for changing the way the community responds to the diversity that exists here and that's increasing here. I found out that the Multicultural Family Center is an excellent place to invest time and energy and other resources in responding to those challenges. It's a public-private partnership where the city and those of us on the board, the 501c3 organization, get together so the city provides the building and the infrastructure, the salaries, and the MFC board provides the funding for all of the programming. So our responsibility is to ensure that all MFC programming remains free to all participants, and we get support from the city. And that partnership makes it a really effective organization. There are a number of benefits to volunteering at and being active in the MFC. And one of the most important ones is that that kind of activity responds to a question that I've had asked me when I've worked as a diversity, equity, and inclusion trainer in the tri-state area. The question is asked by people who look like me. Those of us who call ourselves white are frequently uncomfortable interacting with people who don't look like us because we haven't had any experience in the past to speak of. So I've had a number of people tell me I didn't have any people of color in my high school class, or I only had one or two of them. I didn't run across people when I started working, diverse people when I started working in Dubuque. If you come to the MFC and invest your time in volunteering with organizations or attending programming, there's going to be an opportunity for you to respond to that need, to meet people, Black, brown, indigenous, people of color, who can enhance your ability to become more cosmopolitan in your communicating, become more experienced in interacting with the diverse community that Dubuque has now become. And so this is a high benefit, an important benefit of being a part of the programming at the MFC.
Claudette Bees is our next board member. Claudette was born in the Bahamas. She received her undergrad degree from the University of Texas, El Paso. She then attained an advanced degree at DePaul University. She retired from Dubuque Community Schools after 21 years of service as a teacher and as an administrator. Claudette has been on the board since 2013. She's a strong believer in equality for all and desires to see underprivileged youth served with dignity and honor. Here's Claudette.
From the day that the Multicultural Family Center opened, I loved everything that the center stood for. I began to involve myself with various programs and attended many of their events. I knew that this was the place for me. As a Black woman from another country, I felt at home at the MFC. As more teenagers frequented the center, I knew that as an educator, I could be an ally and decided to apply to be on the board. It was one of the best decisions I made. I have been a board member for more than 10 years and have witnessed changed lives. including my own. The center has developed in me even more of a desire to learn of people from around the world. Dubuque offers that opportunity. You would be surprised to learn how many different cultures we have here. Come join us and see for yourself.
Umare Balde is our next board member. Umaru has lived in 8 countries and is fluent in 10 languages. As the new director of the center, he appears to be a good fit. He has extensive experience working with diverse populations in a variety of settings. The goals of multiculturalism, equity, and justice are ingrained in his life experience. Here's Umaru.
My vision is to make the MFC a place that represents our community's appreciation of multiculturalism, diversity, and social justice by building relationships to establish a broader community network within and external to the city as an organization that is committed to improving the recognition and acceptance of the dignity and worth of every individual and provide a warm, welcoming, supportive, and vibrant environment for all those who call Dubuque home. I want to create opportunities for the young people that will engage and enhance their social, intellectual, interpersonal, and leadership development and skills, because they are our hope for a better city and a better world.
Abhay Rawal is our next board member. Abhay was born in India and lived there for 25 years. He's lived in Michigan, Minnesota, Indiana, and now Iowa. He has an extensive education, BS in engineering from Pune University, a master's in engineering from Michigan Technological University, and a master's in organizational leadership from Clark University. His life experience points out the reality that our world is shrinking. This points out the need for spaces like the Multicultural Family Center. Here's Abhay.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, in my mind, is no longer a buzzword. We have and will live in a world that will include people of all different races, cultures, religions, and we will all look different. World is a much smaller place now than it used to be. MFC is on the forefront of DEI, and through this role, all the board members can teach community members where they come from and what they are all about. Being in a leadership role at the MFC allows me to reach a multitude of community members and show them where I come from. It also gives me the opportunity to learn from other community members. The more we grow as a community, the more vibrant we will be. Together, we are a shining example of what DEI can do. That is what attracted me to the MFC, and growing our community is why it is important to be aware of cultural diversity. MFC is unique in terms of the MFC itself is a 501c3, and the nonprofit has a partnership with the city. The city of Dubuque provides staffing and the building, while the board raises funds for programming. This unique arrangement allows for free programming to be offered to all individuals in Dubuque. The MFC offers programs for kids of all ages and even offers learning opportunities for families. In my mind, the educational aspect of MFC is extremely important. Teens get to learn about how to be responsible adults through programs like Teen Night and STEP. In addition, these programs offer them a safe environment and normalcy in their life. Community members are offered the opportunities to learn about other cultures through multiple free programs. These programs, in many cases, includes food from these cultures. It is rare to have such experiences in other cities, and having these events free is next to impossible. The concept of servant leadership comes to my mind when I think of volunteering at the MFC. Without board members and volunteers, we will not be able to have these events. Board members are constantly working towards raising funds and balancing budgets. These opportunities at MFC have not only raised my financial acumen, but they have also allowed me to engage community members in learning activities. Being a part of MFC has enriched my family's life in ways I did not think was possible. For me, the best part is when my daughter volunteers at the MFC and she is grinning from ear to ear on the way home.
Marianne Canzette has been on the board for a while. She is an Iowan at heart. She has both a BA in Business Administration and a Master's in Human Resource Development from Clark University. She's recently retired from John Deere and has been a board member since 2017. Her involvement with the MFC stems from her desire to support, encourage, and provide opportunities for the growing diverse youth of Dubuque. Here's Marianne.
What benefits does the Multicultural Center provide to Dubuque and the surrounding communities? The list is long and varied. First, let's describe what is culture. One description I found describes culture as the arts, customs, and habits that characterize a particular society or nation. The Multicultural Family Center provides a community of young and old, families, students, visitors, businesses, anyone and everyone to participate in an inclusive community, a community of many cultures. The center highlights many of these cultures throughout the year, including Marshallese Independence Day, Juneteenth celebration, Pride Month, India Independence Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, Black History Month, Latinx Fiesta, to name just a few of the many opportunities to learn about world cultures. The center provides insight to the world, not just Dubuque, Iowa. The center provides a safe environment for our teens to experience anything and everything, from games, educational opportunities, the arts, working with businesses to learn about job opportunities, and so much more. The center supports a monthly food bank, offers space to learn yoga and dance, and the City of Dubuque recruited teens for the sustainability efforts. The city wears many hats to make our community diverse and inclusive. The Multicultural Family Center provides a cultural-rich community.
Our next board member is Dr. Mary Gatow. Dr. Gatow is an associate professor of social work at Clark University. She was born and raised in Kenya. She earned both her master's degree in social work and her PhD in education from the University of Wyoming. Born in Kenya, educated in Wyoming, and now working in Dubuque. Dr. Gatow is an example of the change that is occurring in Dubuque and the need that the MFC meets for Dubuque. Here's Dr. Gatow.
Why is it important for community to be aware of their cultural diversity? Being aware of cultural diversity is critical for the community to create a conducive environment for everyone. It is impossible to welcome people within your community if you don't know who they are, where they come from, and what they are adding to your community. In the last 15 years or so, Dubuque has increasingly become a very diverse community, which is a huge blessing to the city. We have people moving to Dubuque from different parts of the country as well as different parts of the world. Without creating an awareness of diversity, people will tend to live in silos and fear of each other. For example, when I moved to Dubuque in 2014, my first concern was whether there are people from diverse backgrounds living in Dubuque. As a person of color, it meant so much to me to know there are people from I could relate to. In addition, I wanted to make sure my children are living in a community where they feel welcomed. Multicultural Family Center has continued to provide opportunities for people living in the greater Dubuque community to be aware of cultural diversity through many programs and events organized every year. This program provides ways for people from diverse backgrounds to come together to celebrate, learn, and participate in different activities. This has not only provided provided an avenue to celebrate diversity, but also to create an environment where people feel they belong. In my effort to create awareness of African culture, I have spearheaded Celebrate Africa for the last 7 years with sponsorship from the MFC. And that has enabled people who live in Dubuque to come together to enjoy African cuisine, dances, fashion show, and many more. This event has allowed students and professionals who are originally from different African countries to celebrate their culture or their heritage right here in Dubuque. The event has also provided opportunities from those from Dubuque to learn about people from different cultural backgrounds. Creating a welcoming community requires people to embrace diversity in all its forms.
Next is Chris Johnson. Chris was born in Waterloo, Iowa. His family moved to New York State, where he graduated from the esteemed United States Military Academy at West Point. He switched coasts and received an MBA from the University of California at Berkeley. He worked with Ford Motor Company, and later he retired from John Deere. He has been a board member since 2014. His experience has allowed him to see the uniqueness of each individual, as well as the shared need of finding common ground. Allowing these two truths to coincide is one of the hopes of the MFC. Here's Chris.
I first joined the board about 10 years ago because I saw a need in the community to welcome people of various backgrounds and also improve opportunities for people who have been underrepresented in the community. Everyone comes from a background that's unique from everyone else. There's a natural desire to share your cultural history with others. The MFC provides a venue to celebrate uniqueness, but in that uniqueness also find common ground. And so the MFC is the focal point within the Dubuque community for the celebration of diversity and cultural awareness. It provides a one-of-a-kind central location for people to come and meet as community members to discuss and share their cultural identities. And beginning this year, the newly expanded center provides an opportunity to increase diversity awareness within the public and private sectors through the programs we offer. In order to facilitate these activities, the MFC has an extensive list of partnerships that have developed over the years. Many are with nonprofits and many are with various business entities in the community. These partnerships are instrumental in providing programs to the community, including supporting our teen night activities, our multicultural celebrations, and adult experiential activities. But this success is completely dependent on community members that are passionate and volunteer to help with programming, and secondly, on community members of all ages attending and supporting the programming and taking advantage of the benefits that are offered, whether it's education, experiential, or needs-based offerings.
Lastly is Marie Ware. Marie has her feet in two different but united worlds. She works for the City of Dubuque in the Leisure Services Department, where she is the manager. She has many responsibilities in this position, and one of them is to oversee and manage the Multicultural Family Center. Through her, the city provides salaries, staffing, facilities, and their day-to-day maintenance. But then Marie gets to observe as the director, staff, and board plan and execute programs and projects that make the MFC the great place that it is, and something that city government and the people of Dubuque can be proud of.
The Multicultural Family Center is an amazing place for our community, and it happens because it has a partnership that helps it to happen. That partnership is between the Multicultural Family Center Board, the city, many people within our community who volunteer at our community events, many different people that come together to serve on committees that help to make for the cultural events that the Multicultural Family Center is so known for. It really takes a lot of people to make this work, and that has been established as a very successful partnership that has really led to an expansion of the Multicultural Family Center that people enjoy, as well as the programming and activities. It takes our community, and our community really works hard, and you can all come and enjoy the Multicultural Family Center where you can see that celebrated.
There you have it. Local people who care about their community of Dubuque, they are investing their time, talents, hopes, and dreams in serving the MFC and its patrons. What about you? See you at the center.